Hey, what's up guys? This is Adam with Comfy Thrift and Flip. If this is your first time checking out my channel, I like to thrift part-time. And I like to go out, I like to check out different locations like Goodwill, Plato's Closet, Salvation Army, and many more thrift stores. What I like to do is I like to pick up the items, buy them at a low cost, and resell them on different platforms, whether it be Mercari, eBay, Poshmark, Grailed. I've had success on all of those locations. But today I want to talk about 3 different topics that I want to go over. If you're considering or have ever thought about being a part-time thrifter, some things you may want to think about. So one of the things that I do want to go over before we get started is that as a part-time thrifter, you can literally start with nothing. So when I say nothing, I mean some of the items that you may have in your location already. You can actually take those items, post them online, learn how each of the different sites work. Now I've had a lot of success through Mercari, and Mercari has been my best location, mainly because I have primarily sourced clothes so far. I've learned a lot over the past year and a half of what items work well, what items don't work well. I've even had times where I knew the items weren't going to sell at all, and I ended up packing up the items and taking them back and giving them back to the location that I had. Maybe it was just a learning lesson for me, but it was definitely something that you will experience over time. If you do thrift, you will accumulate items over time. So that brings me to my first point, knowledge. One of the things that you want to know whenever you're thrifting is the knowledge of the items. So you can actually study the items that are selling. Maybe you already have some sort of background in that item or category already. I like clothes. I like to sell clothes. I didn't know a whole lot about it, but I know the certain name brands. But come to find out, actually the primary name brands that you'll find in the stores is not what's going to sell unless it's a specific rare item. The things that are selling right now are going to be like your items that are typically hard to find, which you have to look for them. But you want to study the items that are selling. So like I said, I primarily sell in clothes, but maybe your topic is in hard goods or tools or jewelry or Pokemon cards, whatever it is. You can find what it is that you like, and you can go and list those items and start learning more about those items and how they resell. So you may know about the items as a buyer, but learning the items as a reseller is a whole different ballgame, because you have to understand, okay, I've paid this much for this item before, maybe I can sell it for that again. It's not always going to be the case. So you definitely want to study the items that are selling. Secondly, you want to know how rare the item is. So if the item can be found anywhere, Amazon. If the item can be found, eBay. If the item can be found anywhere, you're definitely not going to be able to sell it at the price that you may want to. So you definitely, if you find an item that is very, very common, you want to make sure that you're getting it at a low price so that you can beat your competitors or stay in competition with them. Just because you've paid $80 for an item before doesn't mean you're going to be able to list the item for $80 if everybody else has it at $45. So you don't want to go and spend $45 on an item that you've paid $80 for in the past, whenever it's only going for $45 or $50. So you got to keep that in mind. Know how rare the item is. You want to know the quality. So when you're out looking, this all stems from the knowledge of the item. You want to know the quality of it. You can get into a location and you could be looking over an item and you can overlook small stains. You can overlook cracks. You can overlook different things that are going on with the item and not even pay attention to it till you get home and you realize, oh wow, this had this issue going on with it and I didn't even see it. I've actually taken an item, took it home, listed it, posted it, sold it, shipped it, and then the buyer had informed me, hey, these pair of pants don't have a zipper on them. And then you have to eat that, or you have to basically just give that money away. So review your items while you're at the location. Don't get too excited about what you found, because if it's sitting there and it's a nice item, you want to review it fully, because I promise you there's a lot of people out there that are doing the same thing that you may be interested in, like thrifting, buying, and reselling. So if it's sitting there, look over it thoroughly. Now that's not the case with all items. I'm going to show you a pair of shoes that I sold, and these shoes retail on StockX brand new for about $400. So I was able to actually pick these up for $10 and resell them, and they were actually in a little bit less shape than I normally would pick up a pair of shoes, but I knew what they sold for, so I was confident that I'd be able to make some money on it. The next thing, test the item. So if you're picking up electronics, you want to be able to try to test the item. Don't always go on what people say. I've seen many times where people have picked up game systems or cameras and things like that. Carry some AA batteries with you so you could pop those in the item to make sure it works. Test the item in the location, know the quality, review the item, verify authenticity. So you can go on Google and you can actually find the UPC verification, and you can actually type in the UPC from the pair of shoes. So if I'm specifically talking about Jordans, because you will find fake Jordans everywhere. You can go to the pawn shop and find fake Jordans. You can go anywhere. As a matter of fact, I just went there the other day. I was going to buy 2 pair of Jordans. I typed in the UPC code and they come up that they were not authentic. So I definitely wasn't going to go pick those up, because you can't sell fake items. I mean, you can, but you run the risk of getting your store shut down online. So definitely don't want to play that game. Make sure your items are real. If you do end up selling something like that and you end up having to pay for the return, it's just not the way you want to know. So know your stuff. Get your knowledge, get your base. If you already have a knowledge base, then you'll be that much further ahead. Second item that I want to talk about is time. So if you've never thrifted before, if you've gone shopping, you know how quickly time can go away. So whenever you're sourcing, that's typically going to be about an hour in the store minimum that you're looking. That's not including your drive there and your drive back. So think about that. You're in the store, you find 1 or 2 items and you've been in there for an hour. You've driven both ways. You're probably 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back. Depending on where you live, you've maybe put in more time than that. So you're already at an hour and 40 minutes. Then you want to take a look at the item. Do you have to clean the item? I mean, with a pair of shoes, you can get a magic eraser and you can clean those things up and they can look brand new. But cleaning can take anywhere from 30 minutes. And I'm talking about one item. So we're at ship the item. You have to drive to the location, drop the item off, drive back. We're probably looking somewhere between 15 to 20 minutes. Think about the time of it. It's a hobby. If someone likes playing basketball, they don't think about the time that they're playing basketball. If somebody enjoys lifting weights, they don't think about the time that they're lifting weights. If thrifting is something that you enjoy, you're not going to think about the time, because it's not about the time. Number one. Number two, it's not even about the money, but you're having fun with it and you're making money at the same time. Which leads me to my next topic, money. So when you're wanting to thrift, if you're just getting started, one of the biggest things you want to do is minimize your debt. You don't want to have to owe anyone, because you want this to be fun. You don't want to have to, I spent $20 and I got to make $40 so that I could pay my light bill. You don't want to be there. You want to make sure that your debt is at a minimum and that you have an excess of money that you can, take $200 or $300 and be able to use that for the month to be able to find items. Turn that $200 or $300 into $400. Thing about it is that it doesn't happen overnight. So you may be sitting on that $200 for 2 to 3 months. You could turn that $200 into $300, but it doesn't happen overnight. You can be investing $200 a month, and then 1 month you make $600 or $700 in sales. This is as a part-timer. So if you're doing this full-time, obviously your scale is going to be a lot higher. This may not even be a concern to you, but I'm sure if you are a thrifter that your debt minimum is low. And if you are doing it a different way, then, that's great. But I can tell you that paying less and being a thrifter is a lot more enjoyable experience than having to owe a lot of people and thrift at the same time. So my recommendation would be owe as few people as you can. And that's just simple business rules, period. If you're a business owner or a small-time business owner, unless you've got some big-scale business and you're using debt as a leverage, don't use debt as a leverage whenever you're thrifting. That's all I'm saying. You won't get rich quick. So we just talked about that, 2 to 3 months, the time that it takes into it. You're not going to get rich quick. If you're watching people like myself online and you're watching them talk about their thrifting and things like that, for one, they're making money through other sources. And if you go through their videos, they break it down. So through thrifting, you can make money, yes, but you're not going to get rich quick. You can hit those items where, I bought a camera for $5 and turned it into $300. So you can hit those items, but it doesn't happen fast and it doesn't happen consistent, because you have to find those items and you have to take that time into it. Less is more when you're starting. Start off with 1 or 2 items. It doesn't take a whole lot. It doesn't even take you going and spending money. You can actually take the items that you have in your home, and you can go into Mercari and you can go into eBay and you can list those items. So less is more when you're just getting started out. Find out if you like it. Post 1 or 2 items. Do you enjoy that? Is it fun? Do you like seeing your phone, ring or make a cash noise whenever you make that sale? Is that something that you enjoy? If it is, keep doing it. Do a little bit more. Go take $15. See if you can turn 15 into 30. Hey, you never know. Fun with it. Maybe you've never broke it down or thought about it in that way, or maybe you've never even thrifted before. But if you do start, definitely take those 3 items into consideration. I want to thank you for checking out my channel. I hope you enjoy. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll be back with more content in the future. Thank you for checking it out, and always stay comfy.